just lift my hands. And one of them still don't go all the way up. I lift it as far as I can, and I'm in there, because God deserves that much praise, where even if I can't do it all the way physically, I have some impediments, I have some obstructions, things holding me back, I'm still gonna lift my hands. I take full advantage of what we have. And I think that's so important for women to know. You don't have to go get something outside of you. God already
Hold
gave
up.
you everything. Okay, I'm sorry.
She
Look,
already in
everything
there.
you you already have everything you need for healing, for empowerment, to boost yourself. It's in your vocal cords. It's in your hands, being able to lift your hands. We actually didn't even tell our son he was autistic until he was about to graduate high school. My reasoning for that was because I didn't want him to feel like something was wrong with him.
Hey, thank God for another day. Hey, I know we could be another way. Hey, pray. Thank God for another day. Hey, I know we could be another way.
There's a storm out on the ocean, and it's moving this way. If your soul's not anchored in Jesus, you will surely drift away. Y'all can hear how I get singing with us. She virtual today, but y'all listen. If you don't know where you've landed in a safe space where influencers can decompress, have fun, and guess what?
Just ask.
Face. Okay, just ask. Just ask me. Yeah. Ask yourself. Ask the Lord.
Ask the Lord.
Listen, I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Miss Desiree.
Hey.
Desiree.
Hey.
Desiree. Man.
What's up, y'all?
Y'all can't see her because we're actually having technical difficulties with one of the cameras today. Yep. So, therefore,
I'm here though.
She's here. Remember back in the day when I used to get onto you about not being on camera?
And you know what? I've actually started to come into liking it just a tinge.
Yeah, I think you like it for real because she be putting her lashes on.
Because my eyes is big and I don't have my eyes is big and my eyelashes is little, so I need to make them bigger so it can match the vibe.
With your eyes?
Yeah, because you got big eyes. I was about to say little eyelashes.
Yeah, you do have. Your eyes are really
They're big.
Nice.
I can see,
but they're beautiful. It's a man out there that really loves your eyes. Like I just believe in God.
It is.
Shout out to him. Yeah, but y'all know I don't care a camera or no camera. We're going to cut up.
Hey.
We're going to cut up, okay? Listen, this is a wonderful time to be alive, a wonderful time to be on this episode. We love seeing you each and every Thursday on this platform. And if you haven't done this yet, I need for you to hit that subscribe button.
Yep.
Hit that bell, put that like, and put that comment. And make sure you share this out. We are building community out here. Speaking of community, if you have not joined the Yes 365 Collective, what are you doing? It's free.
Yeah,
it's free. We're not charging you. We're not saying,
come join us.
We just want to commune and actually do community. So we're using the WhatsApp. All you have to do is download the WhatsApp. Desiree has so graciously put the information in the description. We want you to join the community because it is for you. Yeah. We have community because we made it for you. Okay, and so the community highlights are going to come from there now. Just as I think it's fair, right? Because we're getting to know people. If we're going to do a community highlight, we should be doing community with the people, right? And so for those that just want to watch, that's cool. I love y'all. Everybody is not going to be for everybody. But for those that it's for, we're going to highlight you. We're going to promote you. We're going to push you. We're going to do life with you, okay? So our community highlight out of the Yes 365 Collective is none other than my girl. I've been rocking with this girl for some years now. And her, I just messed that up. That's not the community highlight for today. I've never done that before. Let me see. I hear you, Holy Spirit. Okay, let's go with it. So this is going to be the community highlight, and then I'll shout my girl out with my shirt in a minute. So the community highlight is Mary Ann Nichols.
Come on, Mary Ann.
I love my girl. Listen, my girl supports literally everything that I do. Anything from retreats. She was reporting when I was doing retreats. I think I'm gonna bring the retreats back.
That'd be nice.
Man, especially now that we're building this year's 365 community, I'm really feeling that pull to bring something to where we can just actually gather in person instead of just virtually. But Marian, I love you so much. God, I hear the Lord say, I'm about to do it big. That's the word I just heard the Lord say. I am about to do it big, and big things are not coming your way. Big things are coming out of you. And I even heard the Lord just say, big things are actually moving out of your way too. The big problems, the big issues, the big obstacles that's moving out your way. So expect big, the big moves, the big transformations. Everything's got to be big for you because you have a big heart, you have a big spirit, and you've been spending some great time and being very intentional about you and the Lord's relationship. His heart is big for you and your heart is big for him. And so I'm super excited to see what God is doing for you in this hour. Girl, I love you down. Okay, down. Okay, did y'all get that baritone or no? It was just tenor. Was it tenor or baritone? Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay,
but I love you down, sis, and I'm so grateful that God has granted me the opportunity to do life with you in real life, but also allowed you the opportunity to join the Yes 365 Collective. We love you over here at Just Ask the Podcast. Y'all can show my girl some love, Miss Mary Ann Nichols. All right, girl. I'm all over the place, I feel like, but I'm not.
that was perfect.
Was that? Okay. So, but shout out, I want to show y'all my shirt. Hold on. And for those just listening, y'all just got to go to YouTube to see it. Y'all see my shirt says power, strength, a woman of power, strength, and courage. And this young lady just blessed us with these shirts. And I think this comes as a timely message and reminder that I am a woman of power, I am a woman of strength, and I am a woman of courage. Miss Portia Edwards, we thank you for these gifts. We like it. It's very comfortable. These crew necks, I love a good crew neck. It's very comfortable. It's not itching. I just put mine on from the package. This is my first time wearing it because I love it already. So thank you so much. Y'all, we'll link Portia's website. It's PEC Apparel. PEC Apparel. It's going to be in the description so you can see it. Y'all go get my girl. She has some other t-shirts and merch that you can get, but definitely I vote for this one.
It is so comfortable.
It's comfortable. It's cute. It's colorful. I had to get black because I can't do too much. Okay. Cool beans. All right, you guys. Listen. We're in for a treat today. I'm excited because the guest that we have today, I've never met her. She reached out to me and said, hey, I would love to be on your podcast. And I always go into, like I told y'all, I always go into prayer when I'm dealing with people that I'm not familiar with, even people that I do know. It's people that I do know. And I said, no, I can't. The Lord said, no, you can't have them on your podcast yet. But the Lord gave her a quick yes. And I was like, oh, okay, God, what your daughter doing over here? So she's doing some amazing things. She is actually in the realm under mental health, self-empowerment, pushing women towards their destiny, their purpose. She is a coach and a author. What I'm saying, she's a minister. Like
she got a preacher.
She got a preacher in her belly. We were doing some. Y'all heard her singing in the beginning. All right. She got a little preacher in her belly. So we are so excited to have our new friend of Just Ask the Podcast, Miss Yolanda Lewis.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
What a beautiful welcome. Hey, girl. Hey.
Girl, a beautiful welcome from a beautiful person.
Man.
Oh, thank you. I feel the same about you.
Girl,
yes,
this lip.
even though we never met, I feel it. And look, you caught me singing. I didn't know we was going in. I wasn't ready. Otherwise, I would have been quiet.
Girl, the secret sauce to Just Ask is that we start with a good old song. Because sometimes when we record, we don't feel like you an entrepreneur. You have community.
Yep.
Sometimes you just don't feel like it. Yolanda, tell us what you do when you just don't feel like it.
Well, you put a song on. I move. I like to move, and or I go outside and I like to get fresh air. I like the air to hit my face, and the sun if it's out. But even if it's not the sun, I like the air to hit my face. It just resets my whole everything. So I take full advantage of what we have, and I think that's so important for women to know. You don't have to go get something outside of you. God already
Hold
gave
up.
you everything. Okay, I'm sorry. Look,
She already in
everything
there.
you you already have everything you need for healing, for empowerment, to boost yourself. It's in your vocal cords. It's in your hands, being able to lift your hands. All that. I won't go too far in, but I
Girl,
have
we
something to
already
say
there.
about that too.
You
So
got me
let me just say
stirring.
this then. Look, let me just say this then. I just I'm healing right now from surgery, and I'll get into the details of the surgery later. But from the surgery, I couldn't lift my hands because that was a part of the healing. I had to put it down. So when I get a chance, like I've never been so more appreciative. I've never been more appreciative of being able to just lift my hands.
So
Just
good.
lift my hands. And one of them still don't go all the way up. I lift it as far as I can
Come on.
and I'm in there because God deserves that much praise where even if I can't do it all the way physically, I have some impediments, I have some obstructions, things holding me back. I'm still going to lift my hands. I'm going to do what I can with what I've got.
That's so good. So I know y'all wondering who the woman of God is. We're gonna get obviously we got some oil on here, okay? Because the Lord don't lie to me. The Lord don't lie to me, okay? So Desiree, we already see where we going in this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, bet. So put on that seatbelt. Buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up. Yolanda, is it okay if I call you Yolanda just directly?
Yes,
Oh, okay, because
absolutely.
I'm a little
Oh,
southern.
absolutely.
I'm a little southern. Sometimes, some
Yes.
people want to call
Yes.
Miss.
Yes.
But I'm gonna call. It's okay, Yolanda. So Yolanda, can you tell us about yourself? Where are you from?
Yeah.
Who is Yolanda Lewis?
Yeah. Well, who I am is just a person. A person. I'm a woman, just like you. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I am. I'm healing. I'm vulnerable. I'm all of those things. I have a list of accolades. I'm finishing up my doctorate. I'll be done next year. Woohoo!
Whoop, whoop.
In trauma and counseling, and I own a publishing company. I help people to share their story, right? The scripture says that people are overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the power of testimony. You have
Yeah.
to share. And so we have a magical way we help people to use their story to actually build profit. So not just telling your story, because at the end of the day, guess what, says nobody cares. But if you connect it to a problem that they have, now they're listening. And so we teach authors how to do that and really grow themselves and grow their platform if they choose to. Sometimes they are just telling their story. So yeah, we do that. I'm a mom of an autism person. I have a son.
Ah,
Yes, and but my boys are 20 and 22, and so they're grown. So husband and I, we are not quite empty nesters, but the door's open. So sometimes it is feeling like empty nesting, and so now I've just started a business. I founded just bridging myself into that mental health space where it's called Embodied Life Wellness Institute, and there is where I teach and I hold workshops and I really just hold space, safe space, as you talked about, for healing and really letting God in. That's the way
yeah.
I want to say that. Really letting God in, and having a space to process that within community. So excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful. I'm grateful and ready for our conversation.
I'm ready for the conversation too. I love you already. I'm just.
I love you too, Jess. That's how I feel, for real. I do. And Desiree too, like I love y'all, like already.
No, this is going to be a great conversation. So you said something that I did not see. I missed this in my research. You said that you have children that are autistic, and I'm very much so interested in your journey on that. Let's start there because that is
Yeah.
more recently heightened in the communities. There's more people are more aware of it, especially what is it, Love on the Spectrum, shows like that give us an opportunity to dig in deeper. What has your journey been with? And I'll share this with you real quick. My brother is has been diagnosed with autism, and my nephew
Okay.
more recently just got confirmed. We kind of already knew. My
Yeah.
sister will go, he got a little autism, or he on he on the spectrum. But she's the right parent to have, an autistic child, because he's gonna be loved either way. What was the journey like of you finding out that your children was autistic, and how has that molded you in motherhood?
Great question. So the first thing is, I just have one son who is autistic.
Oh, okay.
The other son he's regular ed, if you want to call it like that. And he's plays basketball overseas. Like he's amazing. But there's a dynamic there as well, because when there's a diagnosis of autism, it's not just a mom thing. It's a dad thing. It's a sibling thing. So we're all impacted, and not negatively, but impacted in the space of needing to shift, needing to look at life different, needing to employ patience, needing to employ understanding. All of those things are not easy. And because it's a spectrum disorder, and I'm using just the clinical terms disorder, but because it's a spectrum disorder, every situation is different. Every situation is different. How they have meltdowns is different. And I believe there's a place where you can grow to manage how those meltdowns happen, so that you are building emotional intelligence, and you are building autonomy to be able to teach them how to make their own decisions and decide whether or not, and I'll say crash out for lack of better terms, but decide whether or not they're going to crash out and how deep they go into it. So it's really humbled my motherhood journey, because you have to balance, this one child who has certain gifts. They both have gifts, but one child who has certain gifts, and another child whose gifts come out a different way. And how you make them engage with each other, how you make sure to make them feel like they're not excluded, like something's not wrong with them. We actually didn't even tell our son he was autistic until he was about to graduate high school. And my reasoning, whether right or wrong, my reasoning for that was because I didn't want him to feel like something was wrong with him. I wanted him to just be himself, and we gave him space to do that in whatever that meant. He's very creative. He likes certain things, certain ways. And so we let him be that. However, we told him and started to explain to him what autism was and what that meant for him, because he wanted to work. And so you need to include that, because there's actually certain benefits you can have in terms of companies making accommodations for you, so that you can still work, but you have like a buddy, and different things that you can put in place if you embrace the title,
Yeah.
not necessarily the diagnosis. So it truly transformed how I pray. It transformed how I parent, and transformed how I love. Looking at love just so different, because this is your child. This is your
Yeah.
baby. This is, you were tasked and assigned to this child, to this soul. You were assigned to this soul. And there's so many times where I feel like I'm doing it wrong. I gotta be like this. I feel like I'm not doing enough sometime. But that's a part of the journey too. And I've embraced that, to give myself grace, to be like, okay, Lord, you put me here. I don't see it. I don't get it, but help me, show me what I need to do. Show me how I need to say this. Show me when I need to back off. And all of those things. One thing that doesn't change with parenthood is people think that, or parents think a lot of times, your hardest times are when they're young. big fat lie. The hardest times are when they get older, and you have to trust that what you poured in was enough. You have to trust that when they need help, they know where to go, i.e., you and or God, and or community that you've placed around them. So those put you in a different place in terms of parenthood and seeking Him, and I was there at every single IEP meeting, every single one, didn't miss a thing. I was the parent who talked the most. I might even cried the most too, but
Now, what is
I showed
IEP?
up. Yes, your individual education plan. So throughout his academic career, they have a special plan for them to walk through so that they hit their own goals and they,
Yeah.
are developing a certain way. And it's very important. I'll say this too for parents to know that your child has their own personality. For example, I remember when a part of the IEP, the teachers wanted to add in buttoning up his clothes. And so I rejected that. I said, absolutely not. This is a standard that he does at home. So why are you saying that this needs to be included? She said, well, when he's here at school, after he goes to the bathroom, he just stands there and we help him, get dressed. So I laughed because I said, well, he kind of got you then because he can do that on his own. And so she was perplexed. So the next day she wrote in his notes that, wow, you were right. We didn't assist him and he did it himself. I said, yeah, that's his personality, where if you think he can't, he's going to let you think it. He doesn't care, but he's going to
Yeah.
let you think that. And so it's important for parents to be so in tune with their child, their personality, and not be tripped up by the actual diagnosis that you miss certain things that are just them, so that you can help them grow beyond that.
That is so good. No, that you're bringing some valid points up, and I think you're help. I didn't know we was gonna go down this lane, but Holy Spirit knew. Like, and so now I'm curious as what was the adjustment with your marriage? Like, I'm not assuming like something's wrong or anything like that, but I do know we had our good home girl Crystal Bowman. Her daughter is a Brancer patient. I mean, what I say?
Brain cancer.
Brain cancer. Did I put that
Cancer.
together?
You did.
You said a brancer. You made
What
up a word.
And y'all was just gonna go with it. That's what like something.
We was. We was.
But a brain cancer patient at St. Jude in Tennessee, and so we talked to her, and she was talking about how she was mothering and still having to go different places, still a mother to her son, but still trying to be a wife. It was just kind of a terror. How does that look with the autistic child that does need special or more attention in the season when you're trying to maintain a marriage and maintain your other child?
Great question. I think the biggest thing for my husband and I, so we've been married 23 years. And I think the biggest thing for us, even in all of that, was getting on the same page to what he needed. We both agreed that treatment, he was diagnosed at 3. So treatment as early as possible, we both agreed with that. However, as development occurred, there were times where he wanted to baby him a little bit more. Because that's your boo, that's your child, and you could see their struggle, you could see their effort, they're trying to do certain things. I think that was a big thing for my husband. For me, one of the things and that affected our relationship to where we had to work through it was I wanted to be defensive. So I would like bring you and your mama too. So in my TED talk, I talk about that. Look, I love Jesus, but don't mess with my children. So in my TED talk, I talked about a situation, and this was just one of a few that happened, where he's very social. He's just a lovable dude. And it was social media. So they, how you get on the live. And so people were getting on and sharing their little gifts. So he got on and sang like a song to, the intro song to like some show he watched. So they were laughing and all this thing. It took everything in me not to, these are kids at the end of the day, cuss them out,
Yep.
bless
Right.
them out, however you want to
Uh-huh.
put it,
Yep.
and let them know how wrong they were for making fun of. Just, it doesn't even matter that he's autistic. The fact that he's showing up trying, and you ask people to join, showing up trying, and you're making fun of him. So that was our biggest challenge. Thankfully, we were able to be there for each other for both. So my husband, he knows me enough to know how to calm me down and put me in perspective of, but is that really going to help him? Right? We don't even care about these people. We care about our son. How is he doing? And he was fine. I was more crushed, and I wanted to, just fix the world in that moment of, hey, let me educate you on, while this might not be a part of your world, it is a part of the world. And you should be more sensitive to people who are different. And then for him, me saying to him, hey, babe, he's going to be his body is a man.
Yeah.
Even though his mind is not, his body is a man. We've got to show him beyond us, right? Because we're not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
Beyond us, we've got to show him how to be able to survive on his own. So we can't baby him. We can't do everything for him. We can't just buy him whatever he wants whenever he feels like it, or go, we can't do that because that doesn't help him. And so being able to, you got to find time to talk about those things in a calm space. You cannot do it when the emotion is heightened. Like my husband knows, I needed to find a way to self-regulate myself to calm down from that moment. And
Yeah.
for me, it involved tears. I had to cry. Give me a second. Let me cry. Let me get it out. And then I could come back and I can hear and I can listen. And that's something to note for all facets of healing. When we're addressing conflict in any way, you have to bring your whole system down before you can listen. Just the body's designed that way. You have to bring it down. So I just wanted to say that. And then with him, bringing it to him, not in the moment, and you know how we are as women, that we all the way in it.
Yeah.
Not to do that. Give him space to feel like this is my son,
Yeah.
and I can't fix it. It's the one thing I can't fix as a man, as a husband. I can't fix this. So what do you want to do? You want to keep it close.
Yeah.
And to let him know I'm right there with you, baby. I feel the same thing. And let's talk about together how we can do it different. Let's talk about together what would be best for him. But giving each other space to process. That was what helped us to get through. And we still have moments because he's still evolving. So long as there's breath in our body, we're always changing and evolving and growing. And so we have to practice that even today, even as he's older and understands more, but still is not able to fully integrate himself into society independently.
That's that man. You so eloquent. Like I know I said that right. Like
Yeah, you said it.
you are very much so put together. I don't know, and I guess it's because I'm in school. I'm actually in school to be, well, I'm on a break right now, but I'm
Yeah.
pursuing a master's in
Nice.
family therapy, and
Marriage and
so
family therapy.
marriage and family therapy, and so. I understand from my perspective of the classes that I have taken so far that your personal journey impacts your professional journey pretty heavily. Has If this hasn't been the pinnacle point, or what, I know this is a big pinnacle point for you. What has been the marrying factor for you to decide, hey, I want to help people through their journeys because I figured this out about mine? What was that? What was that moment for you?
I would have to go back to my first book. So I have 16 books. And my first book was about my experience to overcoming what was at the time the biggest trauma of my life, which was being sexually molested, and figuring out how to navigate through that with God. I couldn't wait to share, although I was very, very nervous. And it took me 20 years to, from the when the experience happened. My first experience happened at 3 and lasted until about 11, 12. And then from there, I just hid. I found ways to hide in church. I'm a teacher, so I found ways to, the louder you sing, the better you are. I knew all the scriptures. I come from a line of Bible teachers and scholars, so I knew all the stuff. I knew how to hide. And what that did was build a wall of, even though I knew God, I didn't know him. We didn't have relationship. I knew him though, and I heard him, and I was there, I was present, but I didn't let him in, right? Like I talked about, that's what I help people do. Help them to understand how to let God in so he can do all the things. So when I figured out like, oh, that was what my issue was, and that was what caused consternation in other relationships, that was what caused me to not feel good about myself in other situations, all of that. When I figured out there was a way, not the end all be all, but there was a way to do it with God, I wrote my first book. And from there, I've been on that journey of helping people. And I will say too, another piece that kind of enforced that was when I got to my third book. When I got to my third book, I was approached by a publisher that said, "Oh my gosh, we love what you're doing, blah blah blah. Let me read your manuscript." So I sent the manuscript over and looked over the deal, and everything looked okay. It just didn't feel right in my spirit, and so I declined the deal. And they proceeded to tell me, well, you weren't that great anyways. No one will ever read your stuff, all this terrible things. And so after I cried and, all that, I said, you know what? I want to be the space where people can come where they don't have it all together and they don't know what they don't know. And we help them through that. And that was when I started my publishing company. And that transformed everything in terms of how I help people heal through their story and, through building a business that they can live off of.
Okay, so you're talking so good. You're I'm the type that I'm a listen. In therapy they teach us to listen and
They
then have your
do.
follow-up question. You gave me about 5 follow-up questions.
Let's do it.
First of all, let's celebrate you 16 books.
That's wild.
Yes. And counting, because I have 2 more that will release in July
counting.
and August. Yeah.
Like 16? Can I just get one? Because we're gonna get.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back to the publication and being an author because I
Yes.
think that subject keeps coming up. So I think that's a safe space for us to go into. But you said something that I cannot skip over. You said earlier that you were in church, but you hid in church. What does that look like to hide in church? And how did you come to the point where you unveiled?
So, great question. I will say that hiding in church, that was kind of easy because there was a part of church. Now it's a little bit different, but there was a part of church that didn't touch emotion. And the biggest part of healing is being able to allow yourself to feel. That's a big pillar of your healing journey. You have to let yourself feel. You have to be present to what is happening to you. And when you go through a traumatic experience, such as being molested, how you survive it is you don't feel. You completely disconnect your body feeling from your emotions. So any environment that will support that is where you can hide easily. And so with church, I knew all the scriptures. And knowing the scripture doesn't require you to feel them. You know how to shout. This is why I actually don't like playing church, because it takes away the feeling. And it makes me uncomfortable that that's comfortable for some. And so it's easy to hide in a space where you can, on paper, do it all right. I served on all the committees, all the boards. I taught because that was actually a gift. I knew how, I was just good at being able to teach. That was a gift that flowed through my bloodline. But you couple that with, we used to play Bible Pictionary, not even just regular Pictionary. Like, it was just ingrained in me to know. And you couple that leadership with just doing the things, you skip feeling. You just skip it all together. It wasn't until, I don't think I started feeling until I became an adult and moved. So I was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts, and I live now in Georgia. North Georgia. And I don't think it was until I moved to Georgia that I really broke of that. And it happened when a friend of mine passed away, and she was a friend of a friend. You know, I met her through people, so we weren't like super close. But we had done so. We did an event together. We had plans to do other things, and so I remember telling my mom. My mom met her, loved her. I was telling her how she had passed away, and when I was fixing my curtains. That's why my hands raised. I was fixing my curtains, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, what is this wet on my face? My face is wet. And I started tapping it, and I was like, wow, that's tears. I was so disconnected from my physical body and emotion, the two of them together disconnected. I didn't even realize that I was crying because my body needed to release sadness because I was actually sad that she had passed away unexpectedly, all the things. She was young. I was sad about it, but I was so disconnected. I was so functional at making it happen and being responsible and doing all the things of life, church included, that I could not feel. And it was at that moment that I realized, oh wow, I got to work on this. So I had healed from the actual event of it happening to me. I had figured out the formula of how to process the trauma from a mental space, but my body was not involved in that healing journey all the way up until that moment where I began to feel. And that was when the Lord brought to me, like, wow, it's time to work on this. It's time to feel, because I designed you to release. That's what feeling is, and it's an expression. And when we can't express, then our soul is quenched, and we are not flowing with the Holy Spirit. We can't flow in life. Everything, even from a physiological standpoint, our bodies are designed to flow. And when we can't allow that to happen, we silence it by not letting it flow. And when we silence it, we're also forfeiting, if you will, or silencing our authority to create and command something different in our life, to see something different in our life, to manifest something different in our life. We miss it. Look, I'm done. Mic drop.
Yolanda. Yolanda. Listen,
Yes,
no,
ma'am.
you talking so good right now. Like, you're okay. So a couple things came to mind. Let me ask you this real quick. So,
Yeah.
how old were you when the molestation happened?
3.
So you were
My
three.
first experience was 3. And I only know that because we actually have a picture of it happening after the fact. And I remember taking the picture after these situations. So what happened was I was actually at my grandma's house, and it was an older family member. And I was there at my grandma's house, safe place, right? Because my baby sister was being born. And so this is a whole safe space. It's not even anything you would ever imagine as a place that would happen. Now we know statistically, the
Yeah.
statistics are like 1 in 4 people have been violated in that way. But at the time, no, parents didn't know to look for that kind of thing. You have that crazy uncle or the, weird aunt or whatever. But but if it doesn't show up like that, then you don't know.
Yeah.
And you don't put together trauma. So later I learned the initial, and this happened by male and female over the course of 3 to 11. But at that 3-year-old space, that male family member had been through so much. I didn't learn that till later. They had been through so much, both of their parents. One of them ended up committing suicide, but they used to try to drown them on a regular basis. They used to try to drown them as a child. They were both on drugs, and the father, he'd be just so whatever that the child would be left in alleys and, hungry, dirty. And people would say, hey, ain't that so-and-so's grandbaby? And bring the child to my grandmother, and she would clean him and feed him and all the things. And then the mother would come like, why are you always trying to take my baby? All this and that. And because it wasn't her child, she had to give the child back over to the parent until the state got involved and he actually started living with our grandmother. So, a safe. It was a safe place. You would never imagine it, but it happens.
Wow. You keep saying stuff that's leading to these questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna stay right here for a second. because what I hear from you is compassion. At what point did you learn to be compassionate towards the person that initiated this experience for you?
Yeah, that's a great question, because when you have a violation like that at such a young age by someone who you're supposed to trust, because he was like a big brother to me, like I loved him, and it confuses how you interpret relationship. And when you have that confusion of interpretation of a relationship, you never stop feeling that. You just also feel these other things. So, because of their journey, I had the opportunity to heal without them. I didn't need them to heal. I didn't need an apology. Because again, remember, I processed everything mentally. And, like I didn't feel anything. Nothing was inside. It was just like, oh, I'm going to cognitively decide this and this and this makes sense, be analytical about it. And boom, here we go. We're all set. And so it was years where I got over the event and I could hear the person's name, didn't bother me. But I will say, fast forward to, I want to say maybe 25 years after the fact, approximately, that person got out of jail. And I felt led. I know this sounds crazy, but I felt led to reach out to him. And so I did. And we had a couple conversations. It was like group settings, all of us, group talking together on the phone, talking together on the phone. Then randomly, maybe I would say a week after that reconnection, mind you, I hadn't spoken to him for all that time. So then this reconnection, he calls me on the phone. He says, Londa, he said, you want to know why I did it? I was like, whoa, because I had already taken care of that in my
In your
mind.
mind.
It didn't, not that it didn't matter, but it was just like I hadn't even thought about why, because it didn't matter. I hadn't even thought about why, because it didn't matter. And but I felt like he needed that. So I said, okay. And he shared. And, you know, it was his reasoning, and I understand that. And then I had to process that. Well, I would say 3 years later, he died of, overdose of too much alcohol. And so I believe that inclination, now, I don't say everybody should do this, but that inclination of, I feel led to reach out to him, was for his soul to be recompensed, because only God knows, like I know those little things that he went through and I learned later, but only God knows what he really was struggling with.
Yeah.
And what would really keep him in that place of torment where you think it's okay to violate people, and that's a part of your natural lived experience. Only God knows what's going on there. I can't touch that. And I don't want to. And I don't want to play God to try to figure it out. That's not for me. That's for him and God. And so that place of compassion, as you say, it came from God, and I don't recommend it. But if you feel led, I definitely recommend you obey the Lord. But it allowed me to see that healing in that space is bigger than the experience. It's bigger. These are souls. Yeah, these are souls being tormented. These are souls living in agony. These are souls living outside of God's purposeful design. That's bigger than me. That's bigger than any compassion or unforgiveness I could hold against him, or any of them for that matter, or anybody for that matter. Now, it doesn't take away that sometimes it hurts. It doesn't take away that sometimes it's hard. But it does give perspective of, this is way bigger than just this little event. And so I'm going to trust that God got me, even in this space of what I have in front of me and how it feels, and let him take care of the rest.
So Yolanda, you Man, you're talking so good. You said a few things that just hit me differently. And when we think about the idea of violation, you can be violated physically, but you can also be violated mentally and emotionally. And I have experienced all three. I was just sharing with my sister last night. If I cry, it's okay. It's just me expressing myself.
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
say that out loud. But I've experienced abuse, and in the revelation of that you've been in an abusive situation, I think it scares you more about you than it scares you about the person, because it's like, how do I allow myself to be in a situation? I thought I was stronger than that. I know I wasn't around that. I wasn't really around abusive situations. So how could I allow my mind to be affected, and my finances to be affected, and my body to be affected? And in the same sense, and I'm coming to the recollection that I've experienced abuse more than I thought I did. Like, I experienced abuse in 2 different relationships, and coming to that realization, like, girl, you let this happen again, was kind of like crazy. But in the first situation, I can tell you that I had a similar experience to where I got to talk to my violator. Like, I got to talk to the person that I experienced abuse with, and he got the opportunity to apologize. And I didn't know I didn't need his apology, because I was going through, like you said earlier, like, I'm a PK. Like, I'm going through this journey of understanding God as a dictator versus somebody as God as a friend, God as a father, God as Lord. But when I found out that God was my friend and he wanted to do actual relationship with me, that's when I started really tuning into the heartbeat of God. And so in that, it maybe took maybe a year or so, and I can't even tell you how we got into the space. I think because I'm still cool with his mom to this day, and I was visiting her, and we had this experience where we got to talk to each other, and he was like, "Hey, I've been without you for this X amount of time, and I'm realizing that you are a queen. I should have never treated you like I did. I should have never put my hands on you. I should have never done that, right?" But on the we had a conversation. Like, I would dap him up if I see him in the street. Like, you would think I was supposed to run away from this man, but really the compassion for this man to believe, like, okay, he doesn't really understand the love of God like I do. You haven't experienced the freedom of the Lord like I have. I have to have compassion for you, because I might be the only God you get to see. Like, I'm the only example. And when we talk about, we have this campaign that's Yes 365, giving our yes to God daily. That is a part of the yes. When you have to say, yes, God, I will submit my feelings. I gotta submit my me being right, me being the victim in this space. I have to submit that to you so the soul can be saved. That's a whole nother level of relationship with God that you don't do.
Level.
You got to go through some things with the Lord,
Yes, ma'am.
to be there. So I wanted to say that out loud, to say, you didn't sound crazy to me at all, because I'd been through it. I walked through it. So now I want us to bring us to a point. I hear you, Holy Spirit. Let me backtrack. So for those women or even men that have experienced molestation in this sense, what would be your encouragement for them so that they can overcome that memory?
You know, you said something key there, in that you're overcoming the memory. I want to explain that first. Overcoming the memory doesn't mean you never remember it. That's not what it means.
Wow.
You almost made me choke on this water.
That's why I paused to make sure you did it. Overcoming the memory just means that when it comes, your body doesn't respond, your mind doesn't respond, your emotions don't respond, your spirit, you don't crash out. That's what it means, that you don't crash out. Not that you'll forget. And I think if we stop spending time trying to forget the experience and start spending time remembering it as a past occurrence that's already happened, that is separate from your now, then we can move forward. I think that's the bigger issue, is that we remember the experience and you go right back to who you were, how you felt in that second. And the reason that happens is having to do with a trauma response. So when we don't finish the cycle of emotion that happens when we are being violated, meaning like you get angry, you get sad, you don't finish that whole occurrence till you're back at ground 0 and it gets stuck, then we have a trauma response such as fight, flight, fawn, freeze, or now there's a new one called fine, where everything you say, I'm fine, I'm fine. And you have that response to it. And you keep repeating and replaying that response until you let the emotion finish processing. You have to let the emotion finish processing. We get stuck in that cycle because it wasn't permitted in that moment. Maybe you grew up in an environment where you weren't allowed to express emotion, period. Like how, you get a spanking and then what happens? Shut that noise up,
Yeah.
right? You're not allowed to fully express and finish crying. So in this situation, you didn't finish having sadness. You didn't finish feeling like that's not fair. You didn't finish feeling like the victim. You didn't finish any of those feelings. So they are stuck. And what releases them is you have to finish the emotion. So for me, that tear that I felt when my friend passed and I'm fixing the curtain random, that was a tear, yes, from her sadness, but my body was tired. This is why I believe healing is somatic too. My body was tired of holding in every expression. My body was tired of it to where it leaked it out. And I'm so glad and thankful to God that He wired us that way to where our body has to release. So here's what happens too, and I'll let you finish.
No, you
What
can.
happens too is we get stuck in the sense of, because I feel like I need to bring this up, alcoholism. Right? We pick up other stuff, shop food. I don't addiction
Gluttony.
in terms of gluttony. Come on, gluttony. Right? We get in that space, and then you start looking like your issues.
Woman of God.
You start looking like your issues, right? Your eyes dark and sunken in, and your belly hanging over. I heard somebody say that before. You look like your habits. I immediately stopped eating so much, and I'm on the journey to curve that, because I don't want to look like I don't want that to show. We do all these things where we got shape shifting underwear and all the kind of stuff to try to mask what's
Yeah.
really the truth of you look like your habits. Let's do better. Instead, let's do better. So all that to say, if we can get to the place where we remember and allow ourselves to finish the process of emotion, now we can move forward.
Yolanda. Yolanda.
Sis, yes.
Jesus. Man. When you were talking, you've said this something twice regarding this subject, and I have not read. I started the book and I didn't finish it. It's the Body Keep Score.
Yes. I love that
And
book.
man, I gotta finish that because I've heard nothing but great things about it. And what you're saying is so relevant to understanding. We reject what we remember because we don't want to feel it again.
That's
and
right.
and so many it's been so many times where I know I personally rejected talking about things, or like battling rejection, right? Just experience. I don't like, I've had moments where I've been rejected as a child or whatever, and because of that, if I think that I'm gonna be rejected, I'll avoid a conversation, or I'll avoid interaction, or I'll avoid telling you really. People really think that I'm just like this outspoken person, but really I'm trying to be mindful This about the most mindful you gonna get. Like I've tried to dig for a resolve. And so when you saying that, I feel like even not being able to express myself, we just recently talked about freedom, not being able to express myself and live in the freedom and authority that you said something so good earlier. The living in the true authority that God ordained me to live. We are ordained to be free. We are ordained to be healed. We are ordained to live in the way that God is. So anything that disrupts that affects our mind, soul, and our body. And so, girl, if you was here,
Talk
you
that
lucky
talk.
you did not. You lucky you did not show up today. You lucky you had something
Talk
else.
that.
'Cause this Bible would have
Talk
been over
that
there.
talk. Look,
Okay.
talk that talk. Talk that talk. And that's what, one of the things that we both share in common is creating that community space for that level of healing.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
don't
what we're doing.
I don't want to miss it because I know we're getting close to time and I know you got other stuff to do.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know we're gonna have to have you again because we got to talk about the publication. I don't
Yes.
think that's gonna work right now. The
Yes.
Lord just went where He wanted to go quickly.
He did it different.
he,
Yeah,
he
fast. He did it.
fast.
He did
Okay,
it.
that's why I tell people I can research all day about stuff. The Lord is always going to have His way with our conversation. That's why I enjoy about Just Ask. But you do have workbooks that I'm
Yes.
kind of curious about. Like, does that tie into like helping people mold through, like if they were in a situation where they experience abuse, molestation, all that stuff? Can you talk to us about those workbooks and like how they
Yes.
help us?
Yes. So the workbook series is called Embodied Life Wellness, and they are broken out into 4 different categories. So one is the soul. On a soul level, how do you heal? What does that journey look like? And it walks you through what that journey looks like from not just a cognitive standpoint, which is what traditional therapy does, but from a somatic standpoint and a spiritual standpoint, which is there's modalities for each one of those, but not together. And so that is what makes this workbook series different, is that they are bridging those 3 parts of ourself together in a healing format. So it focuses on your soul. I have another one that focuses on inner child. So getting through the things that from your past, as well as abundance and purpose, finding out your purpose and how to be abundant in it. And then the last one is more so for my Christian brothers and sisters, where it focuses on refreshing. So it's a culmination of all the things, but it uses scripture. The other 3 don't necessarily use scripture. However, there's room for you to interpret how you need to and how the Holy Spirit drops it. But for this refreshing is simply on that, because I believe the body of Christ needs to be empowered and feel empowered to help facilitate healing in the way that, man, I almost want to call it magical, but in the way that only God can do.
Yeah.
And so those workbooks are available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, wherever you get your stuff. And I want people to enjoy it. I want people to give feedback on it. I want you to use it in your circles, because it's a tool that it lives forever. And that's the other piece of it. If you get the soul workbook today, and 3 years from now, you might need another dig.
Yeah.
Healing it happens in layers. And so while that helped you to heal one aspect of something that's agitating your soul, there's other aspects to explore. So
Wow.
I want people to really be able to get that in depth embodied. And that's the other piece of it too that I want to highlight, is that it's embodied. It's not just you thinking through it. It's literally the whole totality of your being experiencing a release.
Man, I feel like we're gonna have to add your workbook, or at least one of your workbooks, to our
Yes,
collective. Because right
definitely.
now, Yes 365 Collective, we're doing like we're reading and we're journeying. Yeah. Okay. My fluent language is tongue, so sometimes they try to come.
Look,
I speak in tongue.
it
I'm
probably
king.
tried to come all through this conversation for sure.
No, real bad. I had to hold my mule, okay? But no,
Hmm.
we're gonna. I think we're gonna talk off camera on the net because I think this the hunger that I know the audience that listen to Just Ask the podcast, they're desperate for a change. They're desperate for a way out. They're desperate for tools to really solidify their yes to God and manage the yes with God. And I feel like this would be a good tool. Desiree, I gotta hear from you because this done some stuff.
Yeah, no, this was a great conversation, and I think what it has done is almost, there's how can I put it? We never know what people are going through or what people have gone through, right? And if they have not been exposed or, exposed to somebody who has journeyed or who has been open enough on the other side of their healing to have these conversations, they'll think that, where they are is okay. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, like the Lord has ordained us to be free. He has ordained us to be saved and healed and all these things. And so I think it's just important that, that as we journey along, because I've been in James this week, and James says that to count it joy that when trials and tribulations happen, it's working something in us, right? And if we allow the process to finish, that we will be perfect and not needing anything. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, yes, things will happen, but we don't have to stay in those things. But sometimes it's somebody else's testimony or somebody else's journey that helps us unlock. And so I'm just grateful to meet another kingdom believer who has stepped into the space that God has carved out for you, Miss Yolanda, to reach back and just to share and to really step into this and share the light. You know what I'm saying? Because we just never know. But your journey is definitely setting people free. So I'm just grateful, and I'm sure the listeners have gleaned and just found themselves in a space that's like, okay, like, I know I can walk through this healing thing and I don't have to do it by myself. So we just thank you for being a part of the platform.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
she gonna be back, and we might be doing something together. Like I can really see that in my
I can see it.
shundo. Yeah, I can see us working together.
I see it.
So when it happened, y'all,
Yeah.
clock that T.
Clock it.
Clock it.
Hey. Okay.
Miss Yolanda,
Learned it. Okay.
because Desiree didn't know Miss Yolanda. She was,
Dang,
Look, I just got hip like last weekend. My niece came
but
and
you got
visited.
it quickly. You got it
I
quickly.
did. I did. I snatched it
Snatched
up.
it on
It
up.
got snatched up.
Miss Yolanda, I'm
Yes.
sorry I said that, but Yolanda, what a friend we have. Jesus, my God,
Yes.
I'm gonna be feasting on some of the things that you said because I do believe that we don't want to leave people without a resolve, and I feel like I'm just trying to mentally just make sure that we did it, but also, and to do the work you have to invest in your healing, and whether that
Yes.
look like therapy,
Right.
getting the workbooks from Miss Yolanda. I think that it's imperative that you just don't stay on this conversation, but you go beyond this conversation. And so here on
Yes.
Just Ask Miss Yolanda, we allow our guests to have the final say. So if there's anything that you want to add to the wonderful things that you've already said, or if you want to, if there's something that's on your heart, this is your time to share that.
Thank you. I think I'll just reiterate one particular point, and we touched it, but I think I wrote it down in preparation and wanted to share. But suppressing your sound, and when I say sound, I mean expression. Suppressing your sound suppresses your authority. Suppressing your sound suppresses your authority. I want you to know that it's okay to let it out. The other side, that your whole body wants you to let it out. The other side of the healed version of you, that healed version of you that's waiting for you to let go, wants you to release your sound and not suppress it. So whatever that looks like for you, it might be just crying, even in this moment, just letting the tears flow as the Holy Spirit is coming into the room, even right as we speak, into your car, into your office, into your cubicle, letting the tears flow, feeling, allowing yourself and acknowledging the feel of his presence, just warming you up, feeling where it hits your body, and then giving him praise for the opportunity to heal. You get the opportunity, because there's breath in your body, because you're here right now listening to this cast. You get the opportunity to heal. It is your time right now. He wants you. He's calling you to heal, which requires you to release the sound so you can take back your authority.
So good. Take back your authority. Yolanda, thank you so much
Yes,
for
thank you.
just a beautiful conversation. Part one. We're gonna call this part
Yes.
one because we're definitely not done. Okay, I just want
No.
we're not done, y'all. So that you don't
Ooh.
even gotta ask me in the comments. I already know this one's gonna hit. Okay, but thank you guys for tuning in. If you have more questions, if you want to reach out to Yolanda, we're gonna put her information in the description. Go like, go comment, subscribe. She has a YouTube page as well. I'm going to go ahead and profess that she's going to be doing some more things on her YouTube page because man, this is good. Like that today was good. And so I'm really excited about what God is going to do through not only Miss Yolanda, but through you using Yolanda as a vessel. And so I hope and pray that something resonated with you. If it's not just for you and somebody else, make sure you share this. Don't be stingy with the freedom. Okay, do not be stingy with the freedom. Listen, Desiree, this one was good.
Yeah,
We got it.
good.
We definitely have to have her back, y'all. We love you guys. We hope you have an amazing rest of your week. But until next time, until next week, remember, life could be much more simple if you just ask.
What's up, you guys? We hope you've enjoyed that conversation, but make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification so you don't miss an episode. We'll see you next Thursday.